Hey guys, how you doing? Today I'm going to be reviewing Backrooms. This was the new A24 horror thriller type film. This is obviously based on a massive web series and online following a massive property on the internet. I am not personally that, associated or connected to this. I know of its origins and all of the videos online and stuff. But I'm not a fan. I wouldn't put it like that. I don't know that much about it. I just know of his existence. And that is the first thing before I get into the plot or anything I need to stress about this film. And this is really important stuff. The mindset you go into this film with will completely alter your experience and your enjoyment of the film. I need to make that perfectly clear. If you go in, like I had in my screening last week, if you go into the film not knowing what it is, you go in blind, you are more likely to really despise and not enjoy this film. And that's just fact. Because, and I'll get into why in terms of plot and how the story unfolds and the structure and the ending and all of that. But to keep it short for now, if you don't understand what this is and what it's sort of metaphorically about, and the origins of it and what it means as a film, if you're expecting your classic story structure, your classic Hollywood story structure, a finality in its ending, this is not the film for you, and you'll probably walk out pissed off and fed up. And I can't blame you for that. So because I felt that a little bit too, despite me knowing what it is. So that's how you know this is going to annoy a lot of people. And what made me want to say this is that in my screening, as soon as the credits hit, about 4 or 5 people that were sat around me in a packed theatre, by the way, were saying that was shit. What the fuck was that? What did I just watch? We should have watched Obsession. I genuinely heard that. That made me laugh. And that made me want to say this. So I've got that out of the way. That is a key point, and I hope you guys take that in and do with that what you will. I assume if you're here watching this review, which by the way there will be spoilers, you've already seen the film. But if you're telling other people to go watch it, make sure they know of that fact, that if you go in blind, it is a bit unfulfilling. That's how I would put it. So without further ado, let's actually get into the review. Right, so if we quickly cover the basics, director, production company, A24, always smashing it. But yeah, the director is Kane Parsons, and I will give you a quick Google plot summary of the film. This is going to be real quick and, straight to the point. After a therapist patient disappears into a dimension beyond reality, she must venture into the unknown to save him. Now that is incredibly vague, but to be fair for this film, it's all you need. That is genuinely all you need for a summary of the plot. I'll build on it a tad. This film covers a lot of mental struggle stuff, and there's a parallel between the patient and the therapist in terms of mental struggle, going through stuff, how you deal with stuff, how you deal with problems. And yeah, that's all I'll say about that. I want to keep it quite vague, because this film is absolutely nuts in concept. And I do want to stress, I think, overall thoughts from me, I was disappointed. Overall thoughts, I was disappointed. But there's a lot of good here, and I want to stress that. So let's just talk about some of the good aspects. As I just said, A24 produced the film. I think that the production quality is one of the standouts of this film. Everything in this film looked incredible. That's not just talking cinematography and stuff like that. That is true that it was all shot well. Nothing incredible, but it was shot well. Lighting was good. What you needed to get right in this film was the backrooms themselves, obviously, right? They felt like you ripped out the vision of them from the web stuff, the web series and all of that, and upped the budget by millions. it felt real. And I want to stress that that was the most engaged I've been is that those first 2 acts when he's exploring the backrooms. It's great. The found footage stuff, fantastic. And the look of the backrooms they got, each room having their own feel. They needed to do a bit more of the unique rooms. A lot of them were a bit samey, but when they did go for it, there was a room that was just a Christmas tree with like frozen like stone like people like being blown away from there was an explosion at the Christmas tree and they were like flying back, but they were stuck in the floor. It was creepy as anything. And behind the tree was one of the thought up monster-esque like humans that the place remembered. The place remembered them. So when they do stuff like that, it shines. It's like a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 for engagement alone. It's so immersive when you're exploring, you're walking around these rooms and you hear footsteps and they're hiding, and that's the engaging, tense stuff that I expected going into the film. So with that being said, let's get on to who we were following. The actors do a fantastic job for the most part. Obviously, it's minimal. There's 2 actors, and then there's these like side characters who work at the furniture store that come with him and help him film the back rooms. So I say they're fine. They did their job well. It's just there's nothing to them. But I want to say this right. Chiwetel Ejiofor. He's in I definitely butchered that, by the way. I'm so sorry. He was in Doctor Strange. That's what I know him from. He did a fantastic job. When we get into negatives, I'm going to talk about his character because I didn't like what they did with him. But his performance, him as an actor, smashed it out of the park. I thought he smashed it. I thought it was really good. He did really well. So yeah, you need a lead for a film like this. If you're following someone around these rooms, you need to buy into their performance, their fear, their anxiety, and maybe a bit of their calmness as well. And he played into, we're not at his character yet and where it goes, he played it as well as he could have for what they wrote for him to become, if that makes sense. If you've watched the film, you know what I mean. Then you have his therapist, Renee Rensby. I butchered that again, I'm so sorry, I've offended someone there. But I want to actually see what she's done because I thought she was particularly strong. I liked her performance. Yeah, a different man. Okay, she's been in quite a bit. Yeah, she smashed it. She did really, really well. They obviously, if you watch the film, they go back to her childhood and hint at some, a broken childhood, some sort of trauma, and then you see her therapist work, and she released this book talking about all the things that you need to do to be happy in life and focused and whatever, and she's kind of not even following her own words. I thought she played that quite well in just terms of physicality, facial expressions. I buyed into her, and I don't know if that even makes sense because I'm not really giving you a lot of what she does. Let's just say, as the plot description says, she has to go in and she tries to find and help her patient. I thought she was compelling. I thought she was a good character. Nothing crazy, but I liked her performance a lot, as well as the lead protagonist. So yeah, that's mainly it for actors, right? Because that's all we had during the film. It's those 2 and the side characters, and a couple monsters and weird, creations in the back rooms here and there as well. Still going with positives, I'd say the concept alone of the back rooms, big props, right? Because it is such a rich, different, mind-bending concept, and it really does make you think. And that is another positive of this film, is that the stuff that I particularly thought where the film fell off, which was the last act, the final act, there is stuff in there about the backrooms and the way it operates that is interesting conceptually. I don't think this film did a good enough job of conveying that and having payoff to it, if that makes sense. But in terms of the concept of the Backrooms, evolution, the way stuff's misremembered, stuff like that, like conceptually, genius. Whoever came up with that, genius. Amazing stuff. And yeah, I think that's a massive draw to this film. It's what blew it up. Watching this office-like building that never ends, with rooms that are random, stuff stuck in the wall. It's really like eye-catching, and it's a weird thing to blow up, right? Like, this is a really popular thing. This is gonna make a lot of money, I believe. But once you see it, if you don't get it, once you see it, you'll get it, because as they're going around these rooms, it's very, very engaging stuff. And the more you learn about the lore, and some of the stuff, as I said, they cover in the final act, conceptually, there's some stuff there that is really interesting. So yeah, I'll say that. And of course, and I briefly mentioned it, found footage sequences are the best part, by far. The first act and the second act, let's just say the film opens with a found footage sequence. Brilliant. And they don't come back to whoever that is, barely. It's not important, but there was a found footage opening that I thought was going to be brought back and played up on more. It wasn't really. But it was fantastic. It's really tense stuff. And if this film, I stress, and after watching this film, I'm 100% certain, if they'd ran with the found footage aspect of this film, and majority of this was found footage stuff, on some Blair Witch shit, this would have been a much better watch, and a lot more people would have enjoyed it. It's at its creepiest when it's found footage. It's at its most tense, its most engaging when it's found footage. I'm not joking, and they lose that magic as the film keeps going, which is a shame. I hope that if they do anything more with this property, they take that on board. I hope that a lot of people feel the same as I do, because I think that's a fairly obvious observation after watching it. I think by far the best parts of the film is the found footage bits. And if people disagree with that, then I don't know how, but fair enough, each their own. I won't get it though. So yeah, I'll say that, and that is about, maybe if I remember anything else, that wraps up the positives. Now I need to get into some of the negatives. Again, this is a film I don't really want to spoil too much. It's best to go in knowing what the property is, but there's a lot of stuff the film hinges on you actually just not being spoiled on. Some of the later stuff in the final act. But if I spoil, I'll let you know beforehand. But let's just say I've wrote down some notes, and one of my notes that I wrote down is too artsy for its own good. I really do believe that. I think this film should have known what it was, to a point of being aware that your average audience goer who sees the trailer goes, this looks quite interesting. They are expecting a plot that makes sense, a plot that has a structure, a conclusive ending, a beginning, a middle, and end. This film doesn't do that. It doesn't. And a lot of artsy fartsy fuckers, and I know a lot of them, will love that shit. They'll eat it up and go, oh my god, that was... The ending bottles it completely. They do a massive twist with the lead patient of the therapist. And I didn't like the twist. It felt very Rian Johnson-esque, in the sense of it felt subversive for the sake of it. It felt forced. It felt like it was there for that shock value moment. And then as soon as your brain uses 2 powered brain cells to process it, you'd go, hang on a sec, what? That makes no sense. His character didn't hint at that at any point. At any point. Yes, he had this conversation with the therapist, and he seemed a bit animated, a bit heated. As she said, that's most people in therapy. None of his characters scream that. From his reactions to the Backrooms being, and I'm intent, if you can tell, I'm intentionally being vague. As soon as he discovers the Backrooms, he's showing the same fear and wonder that any human being, normal human being, would have. The point I'm making is the twist with him didn't work for me at all. I thought it felt forced. The longer it went, the more cringed out I was getting. I was genuinely getting cringed out because I could tell that the film thought this was like this profound, deep monologue of, this is him the whole time. No, you've lost me, because it makes no sense. It doesn't chronologically following where he's at and what he's doing and how he's dealing with it. They waffled in his monologue to make you understand what they're going for. That doesn't mean I have to buy your bullshit, and I didn't buy it. So that's what I'll say for that. And then right under that on my notes, film absolutely falls apart in the third act. Horrible ending. See, this, and I put no payoff. These are all things I just said, and I'm going to keep it vague still. Let's just say it goes into the Backrooms and their creation and their origins and what they mean. And his monologue with the therapist sort of dives into his psyche about what this place is and where he's at and why he wants to stay there. I really, really didn't like where it went. I would much preferred if they had his character come to a full circle moment. You have a key opportunity here, right? He's in therapy. He's struggling to find a conclusive ending to his struggles, his mental struggles, his life. He got kicked out of his own house, his relationship's fallen off. There's a way to use the Backrooms, and I can't believe it's such a missed opportunity to have him understand where he went wrong and to progress as a character. That's my biggest issue. I think that is my biggest issue. And I'm not saying every character has to progress and get better, but I think for this film it could have worked nicely. Because there's the parallel of the pirate. If you know, you know. The pirate could be a remembrance of him at a low point, which is why he could see. This is how you do it. He looks at the pirate chasing him, being angry all the time, and could be like, wow, this is fucking me. This is what this place believes is me. What have I done with my life? Why am I like this? It's a moment of reflection for him to escape, save the therapist, get out of there. That would have been brilliant. I would have much preferred that. That would have been so engaging, so brilliant. Yeah, it's just this. It could have gone so many different ways to the way it went, and I didn't like it. Yeah, no payoff. The film ends. I shit you not. I felt the same sigh out of everyone around me unanimously. As the credits ended, I knew, oh shit, people are not gonna like this. I was waiting for it. The film cuts to black, goes to credits, and everyone went, this is shit. Everyone was outraged and left like that. Literally, before the lights, you know how a film ends in the cinema and the lights turn on? Before the lights turned all the way up, people had left the seats, bro. They were gone. And I don't blame them. So yeah, that's all I'll say. Extremely disappointing, had such potential. My final note on this film, and that is the consensus. If I had to rate this film, I give it a 6 out of 10. You might be going, Ollie, that was majority negative disappointment. It was. However, it's still an above averagely, if it's how the film's made in terms of quality, production quality, it's a 9 out of 10. Oh, it looks expensive, it looks immersive, it looks engaging, the lighting's brilliant, the acting's brilliant. It's a 9 out of 10 made film. The script and the plot is where it falls off for me. So if you have to balance that, I'd say, yeah, that knocks off about 3 or 4 points for sure. But the first 2 acts, I'm not going to pretend like I wasn't engaged. I thought they were very engaging, immersive, interesting acts. And even in the act that falls off, the final, the third act, there's some lore stuff there that is interesting. Doesn't save it by any means. I'm not going to pretend like I didn't have some fun and some intrigue into the origin of the Backrooms. I'd be lying to you. So yeah, I think it's a slightly above mid-film, but it's average, and it could have been a lot better. And I'm seeing this film, this is going to be split down the road, right? I'm seeing reviews of reviewers that I usually agree with, saying this film's amazing, it's great, wow, so creative, 9 out of 10. Fuck that, it's not a 9 out of 10 at all. But equally, everyone else saying they hated it, I'm not there. I think I went in knowing just enough to where I didn't care too much. If I went into the Backrooms knowing everything, I could have given this like a 3 or 4, I'm imagining. Because, or maybe I'll give it higher, because maybe that's more of what it is. But I don't know, someone who just likes films and structured films, as well as knowing a little bit of the lore and finding it quite interesting, I thought it did some stuff incredibly and some stuff completely fell off the it fell off. It didn't hit, it didn't land, which is a shame. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Am I off? Do you guys agree? Are you fans of this film? Or do you more agree with me where it could have been a lot better? I'm really intrigued to know. So thank you guys for watching. Comment below your thoughts and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.